Hey guys, this is Mr. Rivas. Um, I'll be doing these videos every now and then, so just want to keep you updated on what's going on with the coronavirus around the world. So, y'all been asking some really good questions on the discussion boards, all right? So I'll take an opportunity right here to answer um, one or two of those questions, the ones I'm seeing the most right now, and also just kind of give you updates on the coronavirus here in our city and around the world. Okay, so let's get into it. All right. All right. So, oops, let's see here. Okay. All right. So right now, it says we have 40 cases. All right. This was yesterday actually, but now we're up to 46 cases in El Paso. All right. And now this virus, at first, the first few cases were people who had traveled um, outside of El Paso, went to California or somewhere else, got the virus and came back. All right. So we were able to isolate those people and we were able to put them in their homes or the hospital, make sure they didn't spread to other people. But now what it looks like is that there's community spread. So what community spread means is that people are actively infecting other people at the stores, okay, at the gas stations or in public. All right. So remember, if you cough or sneeze, then and if you're around someone who is sick with the virus, then you could get it from their droplets that are in the air if that virus goes inside of you and starts infecting your cells. The virus can live for a few days, up to a few days on hard surfaces like tile or floor, and it can live for a few hours on cloth and fabric. So you need to make sure that you're having good hygiene, cleaning, washing your hands as much as you can, with soap and water for at least 20 seconds because the soap destroys the outer part of the virus, okay? And then the water will wash it off. The running water, it has to be running water, okay? That running water will make sure the virus particles get off your hand. All right, so soap and water is going to be your best bet, and not touching your face with your hands, okay? Whenever you go out to get food or something like that, if you leave the house, you shouldn't be leaving the house, but if you do have to leave the house, then make sure you wash your hands as soon as you get back home before you start touching everything. All right. So the mayor's going to come out today and put stricter stay-at-home orders because apparently a lot of people are not obeying the social distancing orders that are in place right now. So the city is going to come out today and make things more strict. All right, I don't know what that's going to look like, but there are going to be some more restrictions in place. Okay, this is the spread of it in El Paso. The red dots represent the infected people and where they're located. So as you can see here, down here by Horizon City, Socorro, all right, out here in the southeast, okay, where there's a lot of cases. Right here in the area by Bowie, that south central area, there's not a whole lot of cases. There's none reported cases right now, but this is just 40 confirmed cases, 40 positive tests. A lot of people in El Paso have not tested for the virus, so there are likely a lot more than 40 right now. This could be over 100. This could be 200 right now. It could be 300. We don't know, but it's definitely higher than 40 because we're not testing everyone right now. Okay, so it is higher than 40. There are people out there who have not tested positive who are spreading the virus right now. So the social distancing is extremely important. All right, so this graph, if you think about El Paso, Las Cruces, and Juarez, okay, it's all kind of like one big area, one big metropolitan area, because a lot of people from all three cities travel back and forth each day for work between the three cities. There's a lot of movement between the three cities, so it's kind of like one big area. So if you really think about it, there's 75 total cases in these three cities. All right, El Paso has the most with 46, Las Cruces 18, Juarez has 4. Like I said, these numbers in Las Cruces and Juarez are probably a lot higher, all right, because they're not testing everyone. Okay, so Las Cruces has a lot more than 18, Juarez probably has a lot more than 4. Okay, so and this number is probably more higher than 75. So as you can see here, things have changed very quickly. Before we left for spring break back here in early March, there were 0 cases in El Paso. All right, so we have 0 cases in El Paso. Let me use the red pointer here. All right, there were 0 cases in El Paso in early March. All right, before that for spring break, now we have 46. Okay, so things have changed. This shows you things can change very quickly. So we are in the early phases of this. We are still in the ascending part of the graph. The cases are rising right now. All right, so a lot of y'all are asking, so let's go into your questions. All right, one of your questions that I see in the discussion boards a lot is, when will all of this be over? Okay, so that's a very good question, and I'm gonna try to explain it the best I can. I know that there's a lot of confusion right now, so let me break it down for you the best I can. Okay, so when will all this be over? When can we return to normal life? All right, so this is the total amount of, this total number of, someone texted me. I am having, students are trying to write in English and they're on that. Okay, all right, so the total for coronavirus cases in the United States. Okay, so this is the number of cases in the US right now. Today, I believe we're at about 170,000, somewhere around there. All right. We were definitely, things have changed a lot. So before spring break, we had about 150 cases. Around this time, I showed you a video in class, and there was about 150 cases in the US. Well, now we're at over 170,000 in about around 20 days difference. Okay, so things can change very quickly. This virus spreads very rapidly. It spreads a lot faster than the flu. It's more easily transmitted than the flu. All right, from person to person. It is. It's a different virus. It's a similar virus to the flu, but it's a different virus. Okay. All right. So we're in the early stages of our outbreak in the United States. Our graph, okay, our line of infections over time is increasing right now. We're in the early phases of this. Let me move my little face right here real quick. We're in the early phases still. Okay. All right. So there's two futures that can happen. All right, there's two future scenarios that are going to happen in this country, and either one can happen. Okay, so we can either live in this scenario right here in the red, or we can live in this scenario right here in the green. Okay, so in the red, all right, in this future, okay, this black dotted line right here represents the amount of patients that our healthcare system, our hospitals can hold. All right, so this is the maximum capacity of people that we can treat in hospitals, this black line. All right, and we don't want to pass that line, because if we do pass that line, then our hospitals are overran. We can't treat everyone that we need to treat. And if you see what's happening in Italy right now, in Italy, they're actually turning people away from the hospitals. They're having to make choices in Italy of who to treat and who not to treat. So in Italy, the hospitals are overran right now. So if two people come sick, they might tell one person, you have a better chance of surviving, so we're going to treat you, and then the other person they might have to send home. Okay, so that's happening in Italy right now. All right, so in this red scenario, the social distancing measures do not work. Okay, no one takes the social distancing seriously, and the cases, okay, increase very rapidly in a short amount of time. We have more infected people than our healthcare system can handle. All right, and the hospitals are overran. Lots of people die, and it's not good. Okay, that is a very very unfortunate and very bad future that we don't want. Okay, so that's without measures. Okay, that's if we don't start, if as a nation, if I don't know, we don't start taking things a little bit more seriously, in my opinion. Okay, all right, so in the green over here, this green alternate future, okay, this is if the social distancing measures work, okay, the public takes it seriously, and we're able to prolong it for a long period of time. Okay, so if people take it seriously, we might see this green future over here. All right, so if we don't go past that black dotted line, okay, our hospitals are not overran. All right, the infected amount of patients or people, okay, don't go past the number of beds our hospital has, so that our hospitals can treat people over a longer period of time. Okay, so in this green scenario, all right, people still get sick, people are still going to die, but our hospitals can do a much better job of treating the sick people, all right, and making sure that not as many people die. Okay, so these are the two scenarios we're looking at right here. The president came out a few days ago and said that all the social distancing stuff will be in effect until the very minimum April 30th. There's some states right now that are, so Virginia and I think Maryland yesterday came out and said that their stay-at-home order will stay in effect until June 1st for those two states. Okay, Texas has not made that decision yet, but as you can see, we're starting to see this social distancing, lockdown, stay at home stuff, it's not going to be a 1 week, 2 week thing. This could be 1 month, several months. Okay. So this is the US graph again. All right. Like I said, we're in the early phases of this. Okay. Like depending on what happens, depending on how people have behaved the past week, really, a lot of this has already been decided. Depending on how people have been behaving the past week or 2 weeks, okay, and these next few days, and maybe probably a few days and the past 2 weeks, our behavior during this time period right now, okay, is going to determine whether we go high and overload our hospitals, okay, or if we can flatten the curve, all right, and slow down the spread and make sure that the peak of infected patients is a lot lower and that our hospitals can treat people, okay. So those are the two futures we're looking at. And like I said, it's decided by Americans, all right? It's decided by what we do as a country, okay? Were we taking this seriously the past week? Or are we going to take it seriously this next week? Are we taking this seriously right now? That's kind of what determines if it gets out of control or if we're able to flatten it out, all right? But either way, it's going to be a very difficult life. It's going to change for a while, but it's two completely different futures. All right, so there is some hope, okay? Those of you who are wondering when life will return to normal, if life will return to normal, all right, it will, okay? It might take a while, but it will. And I'll show you an example, all right? South Korea, this is a country that had an outbreak about a month earlier than the US. As you can see in South Korea's graph, all right, their line, they had their ascending phase, okay? Their cases were increasing, and then they were able to flatten out their curve. So South Korea was successfully able, to get in this green scenario, this green future, okay? They were able to flatten out that curve, all right, and slow down the spread of the virus. And there's several reasons they were able to do this, okay? In 2015, they had in their country, an outbreak from a coronavirus that causes a different type of coronavirus that causes MERS, Middle Eastern Respiratory Syndrome. And it came from the Middle East area. In the Middle East, there was in the Middle East, in some parts, okay, they eat camels, all right? And so it was a zoonotic virus. So that means that the virus had a mutation and jumped from camels to humans, and then humans were able to transmit it, okay? So these camels, all right, have viruses that infect them, and then someone ate the camel and then they got the virus. They went to South Korea and they had a pretty bad outbreak of it. I believe I have my notes here. Let me check real quick. Died in May 28th. Yeah, so 38 people died in 2015 from the MERS outbreak. All right, and this virus was a lot deadlier than coronavirus. It killed about 20% of the people infected. All right, South Korea had to go on lockdown. It was crazy over there for a while. So their economy lost about $8.5 billion, and the whole country suffered. But after it, they were able to regroup and make new laws and make changes to how they're going to decide how they fight the next virus or next outbreak that happens in their country. So they were prepared for this because they suffered and had to go through the MERS outbreak in 2015. So their country made some changes to how they would handle the next epidemic. And then when the coronavirus that's happening right now happened, they were prepared. Okay, so let's look at what they're doing. All right, so in South Korea, they were able to flatten out their curve because they invested a lot of money into public awareness, okay? They blasted these type of signs everywhere you go in the country, all right? Making sure people knew what was going on. There was a lot of transparency. They knew they needed to wash their hands, not to cough on their hands, okay? Social distancing, making sure they wash their hands with running water, all right? What to do if they did get sick, all right? All these public awareness ads everywhere in the country to make it transparent what was going on. Everyone knew what was going on. Everyone was on the same page, all right? So that made it a lot easier to get people to buy in, okay? Also, in South Korea, something that's different about the way they handle their epidemic right now is that, or their pandemic, I guess right now I should say, is that the after the MERS outbreak in 2015, the South Korea government made a change to their laws, all right, that if someone tested positive, all right, for a virus, okay, during a big spread like the one that's happening right now, they can text the public about where they've been, okay? So for example, if someone tests positive in South Korea, the citizens get a text message from the government saying, hey, this person, they don't say the name, but this person tested positive, a person tested positive for coronavirus. This person went to Whataburger, Popeye's Chicken. They went to see this movie. They went to go see Lion King on Sunday, and they sat in seat F14. Okay, so it shows the businesses they've been to, the restaurants, everything, and then the people who went to those same restaurants and businesses at the time the sick person was can go get tested. Okay, and that's very important because you can be without symptoms for up to 14 days with this virus, all right? And so if you're not, you can be symptomless for 2 weeks. What that means is that if you can have this virus, look perfectly okay for up to 2 weeks. Sometimes there's a few cases where it's up to even like past 20 days, okay? That's very few though. So if you're symptomless, okay, and you're walking around public and you think everything's fine, okay, you might have the virus in you and you might be spreading it to other people, okay? So it's very important that the people who went to those same businesses and restaurants go get tested, and then if they test positive and they feel like they're healthy, they still go into quarantine because they're not going to be out. They don't want them out spreading it. So they were able to track the virus very specifically in South Korea. They were able to track it and test very specific areas, very specific people, all right, that were at high risk of having the virus because they were in the same areas as someone who was infected, all right. However, this is a double-edged sword. There's a lot of privacy issues. The South Korea government goes through their credit cards and banking accounts and stuff like that to find out where they've been. The South Korean people aren't just like willingly giving up where they've been, okay. The government goes through their credit card information to find out the businesses and restaurants they've been to and then post it. So there's a lot of people that disagree with this method and view it as like a violation of privacy. But these were the laws that they changed back after they had the MERS outbreak. Also, they have a app in South Korea, if you do test positive, that the government can track you. Okay, so they can track you if you test positive and make sure that you're actually quarantining in your home and that you're not leaving. That one is optional from what I understand, and they have to check in with a government officer twice a day. Okay, they have to check in with a government officer twice a day if they're in quarantine to make sure they don't leave. So they have some pretty strict rules in South Korea about quarantine and making sure that people are getting tested and the right people are getting tested and things like that. All right, so like I said, okay, there is hope. We're not going to live like this forever, okay? In South Korea, they're already returning slowly, very slowly in phases, okay? It's not 100% normal, but they're starting to return back to normal life, okay? So as you can see here, okay, the social distancing isn't as severe, all right? People are going to work, okay? People are using public transport in large numbers again. And we're about to see here in a second, some dude has shopping bags there, so I guess the malls are open. All right, so life is slowly returning back to normal. Again, their outbreak happened a month before ours in the US, and they were able to flatten their curve. So that's why they're able to do this. Okay, as you can see, not as much panic buying in South Korea as compared to here. So quite different reaction from the public, all right, for this coronavirus outbreak. All right, so as you can see here, life will return back to normal, okay, slowly one day, all right, but for the US, we are still in the early phases of it as a country, all right. So let's go to the next slide. Okay, all right, so who's at a high risk for getting infected? What time is it? All right, I got some time here. All right, someone else asked who is at a higher risk for getting severe illness from this virus. So people who are at a higher risk of getting severely ill and hospitalized and possibly dying from this virus, okay, would be older adults immune systems and don't generally, they usually have deficiencies in their immune system, okay. If the older you get, the weaker your immune system becomes, okay. That just happens in everyone in general. So older people will have a hard time fighting this virus because their immune system has been weakened over time. All right, and they might be having a lot of vitamin deficiencies or stuff like that. People with HIV, HIV is an STD, sexually transmitted disease, and it compromises people's immune system, so it makes it weak. And they don't have as many white blood cells. The white blood cells are like little soldiers that go fight your wars against viruses in your body. And so people with HIV, they don't have many white blood cells, so they can't fight those wars. So the coronavirus could be very deadly for them. People with asthma, asthma is a respiratory disorder, difficulty breathing. So the coronavirus is a respiratory, it attacks your respiratory system. So people who have asthma are at a risk of having severe complications. And then pregnant women, it's not because their immune system is weak. Okay, I actually thought this before, but I did some research. Pregnant women don't actually have a weaker immune system. It's that their immune system responds differently whenever they get an infection, bacteria or virus, or fungus. So so the pregnant woman has a fetus, okay, developing inside of her, and the fetus has an immune system of its own, and the pregnant woman has an immune system of its own, and these two immune systems, all right, interact with each other to form kind of like a super immune system. And so whenever there's an infection, all right, the combined immune system of the fetus and the pregnant woman will sometimes do what's called a fetal inflammatory response, and the fetus starts swelling up, the brain of the fetus starts swelling up, and there's a lot of birth complications and stuff like that. So that it can be pretty bad. All right, so last slide here. This is the mortality rate, the death rates for the infections around the world. So as you can see here, people between the ages of 10 and about 49, all right, about 0.2, 0.4% of the people infected are dying in that age range. So, I mean, yes, it is possible no one's immune, but the numbers are much lower in that case, but no one's immune. I mean, you could be 20 and perfectly healthy, and this virus could still make you severely sick. So the higher numbers we see are in people 60 and up, especially 70 and up. All right. So what this is saying is that people 80 and older, all right, might have a 15% mortality rate from this virus. Okay, 70 and older, 8%, 70 to 79, all right, 8%. What that's saying is that if I gave you 100 Skittles, all right, 8 of those Skittles could kill you. You probably would not eat that bag of Skittles, all right? So that's saying 8%, 8 out of every 100 between the 70 and 79-year-olds, okay, will pass away from if they contract the virus and get infected. Okay, so very important we take the social distancing seriously to protect our elderly, all right? As you can see, this virus is pretty brutal, and the numbers here are a lot higher than we see for flu. Okay, so this is a much more lethal virus than the flu. It's more easily transmitted, and it's similar to the flu. It's the same family. The flu is also The flu also comes from a different coronavirus. Okay, but this virus is quite different. We don't know a whole lot about it because it's so brand new. We don't have a vaccine for it like we do for the flu, and we're in the early stages of this still. Okay, so that's all for today. Let's see. We'll talk about vaccines next time. Okay, that's all for today. I'll make another video either tomorrow or sometime soon. Okay. All right. See you guys later. Have a good day. Bye.